Thank you, Dr. Jones. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you our keynote speaker. Tom Chapman is one of our most incredible and outstanding alums and one of the most successful and respected corporate leaders in America. He credits his success to the lessons in leadership that he learned at Clemson, both in the classroom and on the baseball field. He was a member of Tiger Brotherhood and the Block C Club and was a two-time All-ACC pitcher for the Clemson Tigers. He graduated in 1965 with a degree in economics and became the first ever Tiger to be drafted to play professional baseball. He played in the Phillies organization until April of 1968 when his Army Reserve Unit was activated and was deployed in Vietnam, where he served with distinction. After returning from service, he graduated from the Advanced Management Program at Harvard University's Graduate School of Business. He built an incredible career in banking, information technology, and marketing. He retired in 2005 as the chairman and CEO of Equifax. He is very involved in civic organizations and in community service around his hometown of Atlanta. He is active in cancer prevention, detection, and care initiatives in Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta. He established the Thomas F. Chapman Family Cancer Wellness Centers across the Piedmont system in Georgia. He is also involved with Georgia Core, which is the Center for Oncology Research and Education. He is dedicated to helping children with autism through his involvement in the Marcus Autism Center, where he created the Tom and Karen Chapman Care Coordination Center. In recognition of his incredible impact, Tom was named the Philanthropist of the Year by the Greater Atlanta chapter of the Association of Fundraising Professionals in October of 2014. Tom personifies the one Clemson spirit. In 2018, he made a transfer, in 2008, he made a transformational One Clemson gift to establish the Thomas F. Chapman Leadership Scholars Program in the College of Business and to build the Thomas F. Chapman Grandstands at the baseball stadium to help Clemson create one of the best collegiate baseball stadiums in the entire country. This gift was the first ever of its kind for Clemson. Tom has been a generous supporter of many other Clemson programs, including the President's Leadership Circle, the Barker Scholars Endowment, IPTE, and the Clemson Life Program. He served the university in a number of capacities, including 2 terms on the Clemson University Foundation Board of Directors and as a member of the Athletics Advisory Committee. From a personal standpoint, I view Tom as a mentor, and I benefit greatly from his wisdom and his guidance and his advice and his dear friendship. He also serves as a member of my advisory board. In 2010, Tom received the Clemson University Association's highest honor, the Distinguished Service Award. In 2016, he received the Clemson University Distinguished Athletes Award, which honors Tiger athletes who have shown great character and who have been outstanding citizens in their life after Clemson. Basically, he has received about every single award that we have at this university. Last year, Tom and his wife Karen became our first academic cornerstone partners with a $4 million gift to endow and expand the Thomas F. Chapman Leadership Scholars Program and to establish an endowment for the Thomas F. Chapman Distinguished Professorship in Leadership. The Chapmans have now given a total of more than $6.3 million to further the mission of this great university. You want to know why they do that? They do that because they love Clemson, and they do that because they believe in you. They know that you will be successful, and they want to invest in you, and they want to invest in the future. I'm proud to call Tom a very dear friend, and I'm also very thankful that he is a Clemson Tiger. And I'm excited that he was able to take the time today. He's incredibly busy, but that he agreed to come and speak with all of you. I could not think of a better person to welcome you to Clemson than my dear friend, Mr. Tom Chapman. Please welcome him to the podium.
Well, thank you so much, Jim, for that wonderful introduction, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You certainly do look pretty out there, I'm telling you. Let me say this, I am honored and humbled to be part of such a meaningful event, and I'm always happy to be back in Tigertown. The importance of this program and the uniqueness of the audience before me is truly exceptional. We've got the class of 2022, transfer students, graduate students, faculty, staff, family, friends, and university leadership. So congratulations to all on this special day. But you know, still I've discovered a common denominator for all of us today, because today represents new beginnings for so many. Plato said the beginning is the most important part of the work. Now, as for the class of 2022 and transfer students, today you begin the quest to climb a magnificent mountain called Clemson University, with new experiences and untold challenges unfolding. And for graduate students, a new beginning in the evolution of your education and a more focused curriculum. To our distinguished faculty, your year begins with new deans, new professors, new staff, new students, new facilities, and much, much more. And we all embrace the beginning of a new academic year at Clemson University. Now, new opportunities abound on the horizon, ensuring untold new adventures, new relationships, and new successes to pursue. I'm extremely proud and impressed with the dynamic progress and growth throughout Clemson University today, worldwide. Clemson's leadership is strong, it's strategic, and it's showing us all the way for even more outstanding accomplishment in the future. Now, while all of that is compelling, let me tell you, candidly, it's a bit daunting for me, because I vividly remember my first visit on campus as a freshman and experiencing the majesty of the Blue Ridge yawning its greatness and discovering that something special was indeed in those hills. Now that was 58 years ago this fall. You do the math. Sure, the changes that have taken place are awesome, but one thing is still the same, and it's already been mentioned, and that is Clemson is still Clemson. The Clemson spirit is still Clemson spirit. There's nothing like it. Learn it, love it, and covet it. That's critical to me, and it's critical to you as well. Now, I don't remember attending a convocation ceremony like this when I was a freshman. Now, I don't know whether I just didn't attend, or I don't know whether there wasn't one. We'll just leave that one alone. But I shall never forget the feeling in the pit of my stomach when my parents dropped me off at the old quadrangle, said goodbye, and I began the most significant new beginning of my life as a Clemson freshman. That was 1961. You know what the total student body enrollment was at that time in 1961? 4,104. Wow. Have times ever changed? But you know what else? I didn't know one other student when I arrived at Clemson. But it didn't take long to change all of that, because Clemson has always been and shall always be a very special family. It's incredible to me how much that family continues to grow and mature and develop in so many ways around the globe. Now, my matriculation led to new friends. It led to new studies, new teammates, brand new life filled with new obstacles and constant surprises. I truly had no earthly idea what an awesome impact my Clemson experience would have on me for the rest of my life. It all began with an IPTAY baseball scholarship that certainly provided financial support, but also instilled in me the value of team, sportsmanship, fair play, and a unique will to win and succeed, but winning the Clemson way, with class and with respect for opponents, win or lose. And that applied even to those dreaded Gamecocks. My Clemson education was so much more than the subject matter that I labored through it. And believe me, I labored through it. Like the lifelong friendships that began here and remain today. You know, the dedication it took to get my degree reinforced the principles of commitment, perseverance, and hard work. Valuable life lessons indeed. But I did learn that my destiny would not be determined by what I possessed, rather by what possessed me. So this morning I'd like to share with you some lessons that I've learned and pass along my perspective and advice for your consideration, particularly for the students. Now, let me be clear. You may not agree with what I offer up, and that's perfectly okay with me. But let's try to agree on one thing, and that's the definition of perspective. I can best define perspective by reading a letter from a Clemson student to her parents that I happened to get my hands on. Let me share it with you. It goes like this. Dear Mom and Dad, I thought I'd write to catch up on things since it's been a while. I forgot to tell you about the fire in the dormitory. While hustling down the fire escape, I fell and forgot to tell you about the concussion I got in the fall. It slipped my mind to tell you about the young man who picked me up and took me to the emergency room. We grew real fond of one another, and I neglected to tell you that we moved in together. And as a matter of fact, Mom and Dad, you're going to be grandparents soon. Your loving daughter, Sally. Thank goodness for Mom and Dad. There was a P.S. that went on, Dear Mom and Dad, there really was no fire in the dorm, nor did I fall and receive a concussion. There really wasn't a young man who took me to the hospital or to get fond of. So of course I didn't move in with anyone. And you're not going to be grandparents after all. But I did make an F in chemistry, statistics, and econometrics, and I just wanted to put things in their proper perspective. Now, I'm well aware of the old Spanish proverb that states, don't speak unless you can improve on the silence. My goal is when I'm finished, you'll believe at least some of my perspective fulfill that objective. Author Marion Woodman wrote, there comes a time in your life when you know that that life you've been living is over, and you don't have a clue who you're becoming. Well, not having a clue as your life evolves happens to be a common and quite frequent occurrence. It's not a bad thing. In fact, that's what maturity, growth, and development brings with it. Starting something new provides almost unimaginable opportunity for change. But quite often, meeting the new means parting company with the past. That too can be a good thing. So my advice to you is be open. Explore ways to engage others. Doing so will keep you objective, it will help you be informed, and it will enrich your life. Now, you might not think you're ready for this something new, but now is your time. And you are ready, or you wouldn't be here. So be all in and trust in your own potential. Musician and self-proclaimed philosopher Bruce Springsteen observed this: a time comes when you need to stop waiting for the person you want to become and start being the person you want to be. Do not give another human being the responsibility for your happiness. You have to own it. Resist the desire to hold on to your past or attempts to control everything about the future. Most of it's probably out of your hands anyway. So I suggest you try to get comfortable letting some things just unfold naturally. So don't try to do the new like the old. Be curious. Ask questions. Seek feedback. Be focused. And simplify things whenever you can. And absolutely ask for help when you feel you need it. It's been said, I'm going to repeat it again. Absolutely ask for help when you feel you need it. It's really okay to admit that you don't know what you're doing. In fact, it's healthy, and we've all been there. Laugh at yourself more than others and try to find joy and happiness in the process. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, but because it's not. But give it a shot. I've discovered that it really does work. New beginnings demand the right attitude because your attitude determines your approach to life. Your attitude determines your relationship with others and is often the difference between your success or your failure. Here's an example of the power of attitude. Golf Digest wrote an article a while back about the 11-year accomplishments of my good friend Billy Payne, the retired chairman of Augusta National Golf Club. A longtime member described him this way: Billy is unique at being equally great at the 50,000-foot view as well as the view through the microscope. And then he'll simply outwork you. When asked how he was wired, Billy Payne replied, I do my very best at everything I attempt to do. Sometimes it's just not enough. Sometimes it's not good enough. Sometimes it's misdirected. Nevertheless, I'm never going to be in the place where lack of effort was the contributing factor in failure. He said, I'm just not going to put myself there. And don't you either. Think about it this way. Attitude is the one thing you always have control over. While you have that good attitude, be persistent. Don't be afraid to go after what you really want, but try very hard to never give in and never give up. Author and motivator Harvey Mackey said, if you're persistent, you'll get it. If you're consistent, you'll keep it. Complacency will never bring you success. So avoid accepting what is without considering what could be. You know, I got to tell you this, you just can't go through life wearing a seatbelt. It's not the way it is. Life is a rocky, risky, perilous trip. So be ready for it. I believe you are. The journey's worth it. Enjoy it, every minute of it. I've learned that it's wise to listen more than you talk. For every action, there's always consequences. So know what they are before you speak and before you act. So try this one when you're interacting with others. Take care of your thoughts when you're alone, but take care of your words when you're with others. Now, if you've got a strong belief, savor it. But don't waste time trying to convince others. They'll likely make their own choices, no matter what you try to tell them, and it usually will bring you a great deal of frustration. But if you've been offended by someone, forgive them. If you've offended someone, apologize. It doesn't matter who was right. Holding a grudge is like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. Don't you take that poison. So forgive, forget, and move on with your life. Be who you say you are and what you believe, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Here's some perspective I know does matter. Good manners never go out of style, even in our boisterous, polarizing, and politically correct world. Simple actions like RSVPing to invitations, answering emails and phone calls on time, and showing respect for the views and opinions of others, especially when they differ from yours, is behavior that will make you different, but it will make you different in a very positive way. Here's another one. Be on time. Being late is not impressive. I've actually learned that being early is a very good and noticeable habit to have. Some of the best life lessons I ever learned came from my dad. For instance, he made it absolutely, essentially clear to me that I learned to say, "I'm sorry. I love you. And thank you." Because none of us got to where we are today alone. There's so much to be thankful for, isn't there? Now, whether it's obvious like a scholarship or a grant, or more subtle like a special person who's always there for you with the right words, the right caring when you need it the most. Acknowledging someone's help is critical to understanding how important it is to learn to say thank you. Using good manners and appropriate behavior will help enhance your success, and I believe magnify your significance. They are different, but they are valuable components of your character's DNA. Speaking of character, good character is a choice. Most successful people that I know have enough creativity to think it out, but they've got enough character to try it out. Character will endure long after your achievement is forgotten. To develop good character, you need rules. You need good habits, and you need the power, sometimes, of just quiet example. But never, ever spend time with anyone who jeopardizes your good character. I've found that character is more caught than taught. Character develops courage, which partners beautifully with integrity. Integrity commits us to people over things. Integrity commits us to service to others over power, to principle over convenience, and to the long view over the immediate. Now, if your integrity is flawed, without remedy, obtaining a position of leadership and influence usually becomes practically impossible. Now, speaking of leadership, a true passion of mine, let's talk about it for a moment. As Jim mentioned, my wife Karen and I have invested in the future by helping develop the leadership skills and potential of Clemson students. Through the Thomas F. Chapman Leadership Scholars Program we first endowed in 2008. It's a one-of-a-kind 3-year scholarship which will select 14 Chapman scholars a year in perpetuity. The curriculum is thematically tied to the concepts of intellect, courage, and heart, which I believe to be the 3 critical qualities of successful leaders. You may well know that these are the leadership skills sought, yet already possessed by the Scarecrow, the Lion, and the Tin Man in the fable in that great business book, The Wizard of Oz. The key leadership lessons of Oz is that a leader's purpose is to encourage and develop people by using their strengths, their determination, and their character to help them be successful. Karen and I felt like the payback for this is critically important because all of our futures depend upon the quality, the effectiveness, and the integrity of our leaders throughout society. So here's a couple things I do know about leadership. Successful leaders cause the desired outcome to occur over and over again through others. Leaders generally are great simplifiers who cut through doubt, unnecessary debate, and bias to deliver solutions that are not only understood, but they can be successfully implemented. The best leaders understand that information is giving out while communication is getting through. To be an effective communicator, you've got to work at it. It will be a lifelong asset. You know, successful leaders have the courage to lead. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's doing what you're afraid to do. Courage is making things right, not just smoothing them over. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." Another thing I've learned is that the secret of trying to deliver a good speech is to have a good beginning, to have a good ending, and try to bring those two as close together as possible. So I close with great advice from author Nancy Sims when she wrote, "Do whatever you need to do." It goes like this: if need be, go it alone. Your victory could be even sweeter. If need be, go slowly. How fast you get there isn't important. If need be, start over again and again. Success becomes closer each time. If need be, accept whatever you have to do. It may not be easy to do, but it makes everything easier. If need be, stop running so that happiness can find you. If need be, admit that you need help because this is really helping yourself. If need be, ignore fear, for without fear, anything is possible. If need be, make a change. It just might change your life. If need be, surrender. Without struggle, there's peace. If need be, compromise, but keep your principles. If need be, continue what seems to be impossible. It's only impossible if you quit. If need be, stop. A new life will start. And if need be, try something different. You will be wiser for it. If need be, wait. Amazing things happen every day. If need be, live with uncertainty, because certainty is in trusting yourself. If need be, have faith, and faithfully you'll be given strength. And finally, if need be, go forward. Your dreams are waiting patiently for you. Thank you so much for your attention this morning. May God bless you, and go Tigers!